ke anyena mtum ke mbule ke ba ntum the politics ase rema ka pam ko nyongo ba ka ba ikani wo tilong kenge ke mbo nyere to ke ni esere bangirong ke ru ani butu tilong se nyeto ni butu an ke tuesday nya so nye ke radio bangam ko nya so nye ke radio moke anyini usong then esere no more 800 900 million every 30 days. Ke action mi ba ki swam. Eke no mo 1.3 billion. Anyara nam so yang ta usong yong mo. Mo ko ta furu long usong fen. Even House of Assembly so kenanga.
All right. So there you have it. He goes ahead to quote the amount that some local government chairmen get in Akwa Ibom State. 800 million. 700 million, 600 million, 400 million. I'm not sure there's any local government that gets 300 million, downwards in Akwa Ibom State per month. We were told that 3 trillion naira was shared to the federal government, state government, and local government areas for the month of July. Another sum hitting the ground. But what's the evidence? Where is the evidence in the lives of the people in the local government areas? That's the question.
Yeah. We better with weekly news. And I'm because BBO groups declare okay some no rotation of governorship again
Is it for BBO groups to decide where governorship goes to next? There's a lot more than rhetorics that go into these things. Come on, no better.
Mark any election. All right, local government councillors Akwa Ibom City wadi tangta moy e support kete bola me Tinubu ke mo ike make di support anya ke na nga mention siompo sengwet mangpo tipo weekly news real news aso the tang ke state federal government local government ine ka ke dem 3 trillion naira the July revenue e boke koksiki ro ke fa ngawro agbono kan na se about
if I start to mention how much each local government
658 billion naira the increase ke the allocation of money shake compared to other months. Same with Mangbo weekly news and Senator Nick Kanbasi adoko the toyrong yen siba kirong wimfen ibu yong adi ufari nam dubage again is an independent dubage moena makirong and yong adi sen Nigeria so that economy yena amana adapidema akana abami. Same with Mangbo weekly real news mo senamana tanga na ibum 80 mani bo A220 delivery yineka yobo for me ita even isen gefa ngawro so ibum esomana atara tang na ndito fong ye monawu siba ke southern man ebong boy titi bugusong dimo igbakandimo from other communities ebo ukara kwa ibum said local government chairman yari inwam dimo kimini rock eti ki wo ke efang kando Mika ni doko ngwet mangbo into pemfen ara sikidi honte a news here kan ngwet mangbo into news here atang mina ukara kwa ibum said in a ke benide mois and gefanga investment fanga agriculture yeri kan bukutuma ban on the talk kwa ibum se enam yeri kan buken bo ani ngebuno ke fanga boko our fiscal sustainability 2027 budget sangwet mangbo into the news here mboro mosene nyemye buke ikore kpene chairman yineka atanga ba CV nam yang bomana nenga buno kera fia sitio ya ifanga unyamudwa ki economy mo ade peke nyonga kad na ba mi mama kan nyene krebo CB sio ko iseni no local government CB ben revenue di ekrebo ke mo ni senam ke fanga uru gwet mangbo ntipe the news here amo kama ando parce que gwet mangbo ntipe news here na mari ke the Senate President, Senator Gosolo Burukpabio, Governor Umoino, Speaker Tajudeen Abbas, one Senate President Maunoma Akpabio, others Ineka Ecom Dr. Patrick Umo, empowerment, mention Simbo Yanam, Efang Kauru, Yano compliment effort. Mention you will get constituency udo itero manam empowerment sengwet mangbo into the news here boro mo sene akbobo good ayawa akana ro ki wo ke fanga ro mekanika ngwet mangbo into para sikri on te a punch do only me akboni wooden bok aroki even
the late story in the Punch still talks about 2027 pool 571 billion campaign spending limit, presidential and governorship candidates. What that story says is not far from what the law says. No fewer than 146 candidates currently in the race for the 2027 presidential and governorship elections could collectively spend up to 571 billion naira under the campaign expenditure limit, as prescribed, of course, by the Electoral Act 2026. Now,
so
that figure,
each governor, each candidate, any certain amount
exactly.
Spend.
So that figure comprises 19 presidential candidates, whom we understand signed the peace accord 2 days ago, each with a campaign spending ceiling. You know, if you spend past 10 billion naira as presidential candidate, 127 governorship candidates, each of them, you are allowed to spend a maximum of 3 billion naira. No be me talkam, no be easy to talkam, not even the Punch newspaper. It's in section 92 of the new Electoral Act, right? So as a governorship candidate, 3 billion naira is your spending ceiling. As a presidential candidate, 10 billion naira is your spending ceiling. So if we want to put all of them together, the 19 presidential candidates, totally, they should have a combined spending ceiling of 190 billion naira, while the 127 governorship candidates could collectively spend up to 381 billion naira. But the question is, will this be the case in the country? You consider the just concluded Osun State election. We're having newspapers reports very jaw-dropping sums to have gone into that election. Not be even for minus logistics and all of that for the electioneering. Vote buying itself, as we understand, scooped a large chunk of the money that could be, accounted for in that election, right? And all of the other expenses therein, which are not provided for by the law, by the way. So you ask, could all of this have been done still under
the Electoral Act,
the 3 billion naira spending ceiling for the governorship candidates in Osun State? Was that could that have been the case? You move away a bit. You have the EFCC chairman not too long ago come out to say, look, the amount of monies that governors spend in pursuing election in this country was around 20 billion to 30 billion naira. Is that still in alignment with section 92 of the new Electoral Act? So if we are saying this, or we have this report again this morning, does this change anything going into the next elections? Will we see an incumbent President Tinubu spend just 10 billion naira, or at most 10 billion naira? We will see that for Atiku Abubakar of the ADC spending just 10 billion. In fact, the other question would be, is 10 billion naira enough?
Aside from that,
to win the elections in this country? Not necessarily because of it would have to do with just getting the people to vote. But in the history of elections in this country, how elections are usually, contested, the intrigues that go into it. Do you know how much these guys put into to campaign rallies only?
Yeah.
Do you know how much these people put into persuading, or what was it called, wooing people to vote for them? Now, the worst part is that some of them are not even sure, or somehow they know that these guys will not vote for me, but
let me just do it. Do
you know how much goes into consultation?
Aside from that, and zero mechanism we can check. Say moisten actually 10 billion or below 10 billion. The same mechanism can we check because I can do for make me judge. Maybe by transfer, say transfer no and description and then I go withdraw no work cash. You dare to see that Kero actually below the 10 billion. But he say now more binam. Same with Mong Point Pay, Ake Poncha, Poromos and I could a young one a Canada is back with Mong Point.
Pension Road So, ex-servicemen suspend protest after defense minister assurance. Well, yesterday we saw, some of our former gallant men of, the service come out to scream at the top of their voices that, look, we don't like how we are being treated after the years of our service to this country.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Oga CJ Musa, we beg them. We are here crying and begging them. Please help us. It is painful to die. Within 5 years or 2 years or 3 years you retired. But you serve the military 35 years. But within 2 years you retire, you die out of hunger. It is painful. So, my dear brothers, you people are learned people. The school I went was the same military school. The school I went was the same tactics applications. The school I went is the same fieldcraft applications. The school I went is the same methodology to fight war. I didn't go to this kind school. Computer appliances, computer this, computer that. You have opportunity to get work elsewhere. But who employ me with my fieldcraft and tactics? Who employ me? So the only way we depend mostly is our pension. Hardship after retirement is what calls for this. And the most fundamental fact that the constitution is not respected in this increasement of salaries. There's some other things where we may or may not remember again, like the palliative the federal government gave. Could you believe civil servants, civilians, got those things, but palliative up to today, no military retiree got that money.
If you are not hearing it, stop.
So,
Okay, so there you have it. It's been a handful, in that regard. Yesterday, you could literally associate with the pains of this ex-serviceman, right, who went out yesterday to make their case. We understand a number of cases or a number of concerns led to that particular protest, hovering around pension adjustments, where they were asking or demanding the implementation of consequential pension adjustments resulting from salary upgrades, that were approved for active duty military personnel. There were also exclusion concerns where the protesters, the ex-servicemen, claimed that the latest military salary adjustment announced did not properly factor in or reflect computations for the retirees. Unpaid allowances also made it to the list of the concerns, talking about long-standing demands regarding arrears, allowances such as the security debarment allowance. These were some of the core grievances as expressed. And another, rather, worrisome paradox was that we have active servicemen also trying to get them to restrain them at some point. Even while they were screaming, look, this is a peaceful protest. Don't you know that tomorrow you might just be where I am?
Yeah.
And it's just the way life goes.
I will get a good day today. Kimi bo feni ba. Se put mo ya to become. Ya itub ndimo. Ndimo ifaka kendega. Kimi bo feni ba.
So while we commend the president or the government, we understand there's been some recent upward review of the minimum payment for the men of the forces. There is more that has to be done, because you look at the faces and the age of the men who came out yesterday for what they've contributed to the country at the time they've been in service, right? It's rather worrisome that we have them come out years after and have to cry for those things that ought to be done. So we understand as well that there were reports, right, of suspension of the planned protest just after the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, assured them that, look, the federal government would address your demands, the ones you're talking about, pension adjustment and your welfare concerns. It was a meeting between representatives of the protesting ex-servicemen and officials of the Ministry of Defense at the Ship House in Abuja. So we hope that something tangible comes of that. It's always really heartbreaking to see ex-servicemen
what
come
it went to.
and raise concerns. The Punch has details of that one. You grab a copy. Moving away from that, at 82, nobody can embarrass and intimidate me. That statement is credited to Onayekon, Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja. Cardinal John Onayekon is the one saying that he is neither embarrassed nor intimidated by the criticism from the federal government over his public comment on that. You recall the story.
Yeah.
Well, there was a meeting held between the Catholic bishops and the president of our country, right? He says, look, I'm not afraid. I've said what I had to say. So you coming at me, I'm not embarrassed. I'm 82, as a matter of fact.
All right.
Everybody, many people.
I know many people.
I spoke on behalf of my fellow bishops.
Because recently, after the meeting with the president,
Yes.
after you had, reviewed some of the things that are supposed to have been done in Nigeria, there were some clashes from the presidency that were not supposed to have said in the public. Do you feel embarrassed about that?
And I don't have to, because there were other voices now in the social media. Not only that, so I didn't even have to reply to anything. Other people have spoken on my behalf. I didn't go to arise to please government or to just please people, but to tell the truth. That's all I stand for. So,
You get a copy of The Punch and read up details of that story. Quickly moving away from that particular story, 30 months after subsidy removal, federal government spends 30.6 trillion naira, saves 15.8 trillion naira. Part of the questions Nigerians have been asking, what thing they don't use this money to? That's what this report is talking about. 30 months after, 30 trillion naira spent so far, and of course that's in regards to the effect of the policies, right? And of course the policies generated 15.8 trillion naira in savings for the federation. The Punch is where you find details of that particular story. Moving away from that, let's quickly get on to others. President moves EFCC recoveries 242 billion naira unclaimed dividends to Nel Fund. To page 7. All right, Tinubu orders further forensic probe into fake agency scandal. Okay. Let's quickly take up the Nation newspaper now. On your daily, how 15.8 trillion naira subsidy removal gains were utilized. Finance Minister gives scorecard. Next stage would focus directly on benefits to homes. The Finance Minister is telling Nigerians what that money was used for now. Get a copy of the Nation for the details of the questions you've been asking. APC yet to decide on Oshun Pool, says Yewuda. That's the chairman of the APC. Adeleke Oke's 500 million naira fund for violence victims. Governor picks CR out on page 33. Wike sets deadline for completion of 10 key projects. Pension revision receiving attention. General Musa tells retirees. Page 36. Still part of what transpired in Abuja yesterday. The Vanguard is here. Lead story says allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. I hope this can be told to the subnationals on a very clear note. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. That statement is credited to Oyodele. Page 19 of the Vanguard is where you find that one. FEC approves forensic audits to identify fake agencies and ghost employees. It's on page 8. There was a report not too long ago that captured, I think it was from the ICPC, that said some ministries or arms of government had people. Well, these people now had to be the name of a hotel as a worker identified by the government, and that hotel usually gets paid.
There's more to this.
All right. The Tribune is right here, but we'll get onto that after this breather. Akwa Ibom State. Put your thoughts together. Let's know what your thoughts are. By the way, we have a development in Akwa Ibom State about the electricity sector. We'll tell you about that in a bit. Please stay with us.
106.9 Powered to Excel.
The Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, Akwa Ibom State Branch, invites you to the 12th anniversary of the Eastbourne Act 2014 and the Professional Membership Induction Ceremony for individual and corporate members. Theme: The Eastbourne Act at 12, Evaluating Progress, Empowering Professionals and Enhancing Enforcement. Featuring insightful presentations by Engineer Dr. Anthony Akadi, Professor Engineer Esang Esrikat, and Sir Obunna Nochiri. Keynote speaker, Professor Engineer Akaniene Ekong, MISPN, SSA to the Governor on Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port. Host, Mr. Itayu Benson, FISPN, State Coordinator, Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, Akwa Ibom State Branch. Engineer Timothy C. Iwagu, FISPN, National President, Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria. Chief Host. Date, Friday, 28th August 2026. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Venue, Civil Service Auditorium, Idosan Car Secretariat, Uyo. Be part of these landmark gathering, shaping the future of safety practice in Nigeria. Eastbourne, regulating safety management and practice in Nigeria.
The world has moved from celebration of certificates to impact and ideas. At Danny Joy International Schools, we are determined to raise critical thinkers, world leaders, and change agents. We are equipped with leading-edge facilities with determination to nurture a total child in an environment where a child is free to grow and explore with our advanced chemistry, biology, physics, ICT hub, music hub, sporting facilities, and much more. Admission is ongoing for boarding secondary students. We are located along Waniba Road after Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort, Ifyayong, Uruan, Akwa Ibom State. For more inquiries, call 081-0364-9175 or 0808-824-8176. Danny Joy International Schools. Honesty in learning is our legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to UIO.
Yo, why travel thousands of miles when the best fashion deals are right here in your city? China has duplicated itself in Uyo. Get your luxury and quality fashion wears at Sanaza Global Venture. From quality baggy jeans for just 10,000 naira to well-packaged foreign t-shirts for as low as 1,500 naira. Quality handbags for just 10,000 naira. Trendy adult wears, children's outfits, unisex fashion, footwear, and the latest collections to upgrade your wardrobe. Visit us today at Sanaza Plaza,